Students caught up in this who say they will be very frightened by that. I mean, where would you stop? Would every teacher be carrying a gun? Would every member of staff be carrying a gun inside a school to protect something like this? The civilians in the surrounding area couldn't have got in any quicker to help. And if we're worried about things going wrong, what happens if a teacher suddenly had a moment of panic? And, you know, it feels like more guns to us here in the UK can't be the solution. So explain how it would work.
This is a graph of gun ownership rate and murder rate, with murder rate being on the y-axis, and these numbers are per 100,000 citizens, and gun ownership rate being on the x-axis, and these numbers are per 100 citizens. So gun ownership rate in the United States, which is this point right here, is just below 90 per 100 citizens. And you can see the murder rate is right about 4 per 100,000 citizens. And all these other dots are other countries and their gun ownership rate and murder rate. And this is the trend line, and you can see it is actually going down. And what this means, so the higher the gun ownership rate is, the lower the murder rate is. And then guns can also be a great deterrent for criminals because 60% of convicted felons admitted they avoided committing crimes if they knew the victim was armed, and 40% of them said they avoided committing crimes if they thought the victim was armed.
Government helps to keep us safer, then by all means, let's do it, because they'll tell me, I have kids in school as well, and they ask me whether it's a matter of when or if a killer is going to come into their school and take the lives of their fellow students or take their kids' lives. So, look, we're either going to let the NRA set the terms of this debate. We're going to either allow Briscoe Cain to set the terms of this debate, or we will allow the American people, including March for Our Lives, which has come out with an incredibly ambitious proposal to bring peace to this country and do something about the 40,000 gun deaths that we see every single year. That's who we should be listening to right now. That's who I'm listening to, as well as people all across this country who want to see us actually do something about gun violence.
So I've been in
This is a graph of the weapon types that were used in homicides for 2016. And you can see handguns are at 7,000, which is more than twice as high as any other weapon type. And the next highest is firearms, where the type was not stated, so it could have been any type of firearm. But one of the lower ones was rifles, which includes assault-style rifles such as AR-15s, and that number was only 374. Which is much lower than 7,000, which is the amount of homicides that were used with handguns. And then most of the homicides that were committed with these guns were stolen, with on average 56% of guns that are used for homicides are stolen. 25% of them come from a family member or friend, and only 7% of guns that are used in homicides are bought from a licensed firearm dealer. This is a graph of murder rates. And then the blue line is the murder rate within large cities of 500,000 or more people. The red line, the statewide murder rate, and the green line, the murder rate for anywhere that's not in a large city for that state. And as you can see, for every state listed here, the murder rate within large cities is higher, and then for some of them, it's astronomically higher than throughout the rest of the state. Within the city, the murder rate's way higher.